So this is season 5 of High Stakes Poker, and this is a big hand I played versus Barry and Peter Eastgate, where I pulled a pretty monkey-ish bluff, which ended up working out. So I got to win that money, which was sweet. Barry raised under the gun with aces. I called next to act, and every other person at the table called. So the pot was, I believe, 21,600 on the flop, or something very close to there, because Barry made it 2,500. And yeah, I think it was our first family pot of the night. So, it's kind of an interesting side note. And then the flop came 10 deuce deuce. And I picked up top pair and had a backdoor flush draw. So I'm thinking my hand could be good. Barry bets 10,000 into me, and he could definitely have me beat after betting that. Also, someone else could easily have me beat. I could fold here, I could call. I wouldn't really like folding. And if I call, someone else could maybe put a little bit of a squeeze play on. Also, someone else would still call with ace 10 or king 10. I thought raising was pretty cool because someone might fold ace 10 or king 10 behind me. Almost definitely would fold ace 10 or king 10. Also, it left my options open for the turn. If Barry called, I was probably beaten, but could maybe bluff at the turn. It just looks so strong for him to bet into 8 people and me to raise next to act. So I think it leaves my options pretty open. Everyone's folding so far, and I'm pretty happy with that. I'm like, okay, nice. I'm just going to take down the pot. And hopefully Barry will fold when it gets back to him. And then Eastgate calls cold. And that sets some alarm bells off, obviously, and it seems pretty likely that he has a deuce. He could maybe have jacks or better, but it's pretty unlikely he'd just call at a small blind with 8 people to the flop. So he's probably got a deuce. And then Barry calls after him really quickly. So Barry's got, at least ace 10 and probably way better. And I'm thinking he probably has at least jacks here and maybe better. Now they both check to me, and the only way I can win the pot's by betting, but that obviously might seem like a bad idea since it's very likely Eastgate has trips. But I've played with Eastgate a lot, and I showed up with a lot of good hands versus him in the past. And I thought it was a time that he might put it together and realize that I'm never betting this turn with any hand other than a bluff or a hand that beats a deuce. Most likely I'm not betting the turn without at least ace deuce or maybe king deuce, or very likely a full house or something. And Eastgate put that all together and folded, which made me really happy. And then I knew that Barry would probably fold after I bet and expected him to fold quickly because, I'm representing such a strong hand. Then he started thinking, and I was just sitting there like, uh-oh, this could end badly. Don't be a hero, just throw it away, don't be a hero. And Barry has a strong hand here with aces, obviously. There's almost nothing that beats him. But at the same point, there's almost nothing that I play this way that doesn't beat him. So even though very few hands beat him, it seems very likely when I put in this much money after getting cold called and Barry calling that I have at least a deuce and probably better. So I'm sitting there just saying, think the same way I'm thinking, Barry, fold that hand. And he thought about it for way longer than I expected. And then finally those cards went into the muck and I was pretty happy.